Have you ever experienced that awkward gray area in dating where you've gone on a date or two with someone, maybe things were okay, but now you're not so sure? Should you go out with them again, or is it time to walk away? If you're feeling stuck, today I'm going to give you 4 things to consider when you're unsure about moving forward with someone. And I'll share a recent story from my own life that actually mirrors this kind of discernment. Because whether it's love or life, the Spirit speaks in similar ways. All right, let's dive in. Tip number 1. First, check for red flags. In dating, red flags aren't just the big ones like manipulation or disrespect. It could be how they talk about their exes, how they treat those around you, whether they're emotionally available. Those are clues. Sometimes we feel unsure because something is actually off, but we just don't want to admit it yet. This reminds me of a job I was recently presented with. On paper, it sounded great. The money was decent, the organization seemed promising, but as I went through the process, little things started adding up that made it not an ideal fit. I kept brushing it aside and thinking, well, maybe it's just me. But it wasn't just me, it was discernment. Proverbs 14:15 says, "The naive believe everything, but the shrewd watch their steps." Whether it's a date, a job, or another type of opportunity, if something feels wrong, don't ignore it. This could be a form of protection. Tip number 2. If the thought of meeting makes you uneasy, that's data. Let's say you could go out with them again, but the idea of getting dressed, driving to meet them, making small talk, possibly having to set another boundary makes you stressed or feels heavy. Or when you are with them, you feel tense, drained, or uncomfortable. That uneasiness is valuable information. When I was considering this job, I noticed every time I thought about meeting with them or going through their process, I felt a heaviness, even before anything happened. That's not how a good collaboration should feel. Same goes for dating. The right person may not make you feel giddy all the time, but they also shouldn't make you feel like you're prepping for a root canal. Sirach 6:7 says, "When you gain friends, gain them through testing and do not be quick to trust them." That applies here too. Not everyone deserves immediate access to your time or heart, even if on the surface they seem like a good catch. Tip number 3. Here's a big one. If you're taking forever to respond to someone or you keep putting off meeting with them, that's important feedback. You might be telling yourself, I just need more time, but silence often is an answer. That's exactly what happened with this job. I kept delaying responding to meet up. I was procrastinating because deep down, I didn't want to say yes, but I also didn't want to say no and miss the opportunity. That delay created more anxiety. I started to feel guilty, like I was doing something wrong for not replying. But it was a sign. My gut was saying no. James 5:12 reminds us, "Let your yes mean yes, and your no mean no." This one is especially hard for us people pleasers, but it's necessary to set appropriate boundaries in relationships. Dragging it out isn't kind, it's confusion for both of you. Although it's okay to take a few extra days to sort out your feelings, once you know it isn't a good fit, the mature thing to do is to respond kindly and be honest that it's not a right fit and wish them well. But if you wait too long, even if you don't want to hurt them, you risk looking like you're ghosting them and severing any goodwill. And that isn't kind or considerate for you or the other party. Tip number 4. Peace is a sign of the Spirit. Here's another important test. How do you feel after you say no? When I finally emailed that business and kindly let them know it wasn't the right fit, I felt so much better. It was a relief. The guilt lifted. I wasn't stuck in limbo anymore. And here's the thing, I didn't lose anything. I actually gained clarity, energy, and peace. And they responded graciously, applauding me for my integrity for being honest. In dating, if the idea of saying no thank you makes you nervous, but then afterward you feel lighter, that's confirmation, especially if you've been praying about it. Philippians 4:6 and 7 says, "Have no anxiety at all, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, make your requests known to God. Then the peace of God that surpasses all understanding will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus." Peace is a fruit of the Spirit. Confusion is not. Bonus tip, you don't owe everyone a trial run. Just because someone asks you out or is nice doesn't mean you're obligated to give it a shot. Discernment doesn't have to mean testing every option. Sometimes a no is a full sentence. Yes, God can work through people and surprises, but He also gives you reason, intuition, and the Spirit, so use them. And you know what? Whether you end up accepting or declining a date, a job, or anything else, nothing is ever set in stone. Upon additional reflection, you can always go back and be honest about your feelings if they change. Dating is like a job interview. You don't ever need to push yourself to keep going if something doesn't feel right. At some point, you know whether it's a right fit or it isn't. You can trust your inner nudges, you can trust the spirit, and you can trust the peace. And hey, if you're in a season of confusion, just pause and take time to journal, pray, or talk to someone wisely to help you gain clarity. Whether it's dating, business, or anything else, remember that red flags, delays, uneasiness, and peace, they're all signs. Learn to read them with love, not fear. Have you ever experienced any of these signs or felt peace after saying no? I'd love to hear your story. Let me know in the comments. And if this video was helpful, please give it a like, subscribe for more tips to date intentionally toward holy matrimony, and share with a friend who might be stuck in decision limbo right now. And for more videos on growing in discernment while dating, click here.